All right, so you're interested in learning more about automation. First off, what is automation? So all of those manual things that you have to do in your day-to-day life, everything that's repetitive and that you probably would rather just not be doing, well, you can use automation to essentially take yourself out of that equation. Now, typically that equation goes you plus work equals result. Well, if you use automation, you're able to take you out and replace something like technology to allow you to step out of the equation, but still get the same result. What are some of the things that you can use to automate your workflow or just your daily life? Well, automation falls into a few different categories. First off, you have the most basic type of automations. Those are things that are kind of built into other things. That may be just basic settings in tools that you use. That may be things like automating notifications, automating maybe a rule inside of your email inbox, something like Gmail, that will automatically forward your emails to a particular folder and maybe archive them or mark them as read. That's something that's really, really basic. You can set it up in 2 seconds. You don't have to use any additional tools outside of what you're already using. That's the most basic type of automation. The second type is actually using some type of tool, right? A specific type of tool that is built for automation, right? So those may be maybe project management tools, process management tools, task tools, just other sorts of things that have a specific purpose that essentially require you to no longer have to do the manual effort of writing those tasks down, having to manually remember things, whatever it might be. You may already be using a lot of these tools as is, but if you aren't, I definitely recommend checking them out. I'll make sure to talk about plenty of those on this channel in the future. The third type is a connector. So connectors, things like Zapier, If This Then That, Integromat, and lots of others, are built to allow you to connect the second type, again, those types of programs or other tools that exist that automate your workflows. They're built to allow you to connect them together. So now when you're using all three types of automation, one being basic settings in tools that aren't really necessarily automation tools, things like your email, along with tools that are built for automation or built for making you more productive, things like task management or process management, and you combine all of those together using connectors like Zapier, Integromat, or If This Then That, IFTTT, you're now living an automated lifestyle. So with all of these things in combination and done under the right strategy, you no longer have to exert manual effort when you are building out your workflows. And just so you know, a workflow, something that I'll say very often here, is just anything that you have to do more than once. So any sort of process, any sort of procedure, anything that needs to get done in order to deliver the results that you're interested in. So why do you want to put in all of this effort to build out automations? Well, there's three basic reasons. Number one, it will save you time. Regardless of whether it's you or somebody else that has to do the manual labor over and over and over again, that is time that you could be spending doing better things. That could be spending time with your kids, going on vacation, or realistically anything else if that work is just not necessary for you to do manually over and over again. Number two, automations save you money. So because manual labor requires you to spend time or spend somebody else's time completing work, automating things removes you from that equation and therefore removes that investment of time and therefore money that you have to make into getting things done. By increasing efficiency just overall, you're also saving money because there may be tools or other sorts of things that you no longer have to pay for because you've made the entire process more efficient and you're not wasting money and time on getting things done. The third and final reason why you're going to want to build automations is potentially the best one. Humans have one major fatal flaw. Okay, I take that back. Humans have maybe a lot of different fatal flaws. But if we're talking about processes businesses or just productivity, there is one big flaw that we do run into that computers tend to avoid, and those are errors. Humans are prone to errors. Every time that you go through and complete a manual process, especially something that you've either A, never done before, in which case you don't know how to do it, or B, you've done it so many times that you start to forget steps, you are increasing the chances that you're going to run into errors and cause potentially costly problems down the line. By automating things, you're now taking out that risk and putting it onto a computer. So by automating things, you're removing the human out of that process, you're removing the human error out of a process, and therefore making it a lot more efficient, saving you time, saving you money, and also, of course, reducing errors. Okay, so now we've talked about what automations are and why you might want to use them. But how about this? Why are some of the reasons that you might not want to use automation? Well, there are a few good reasons why you may not want to use automation for every single possible thing. First off, sometimes there is value in having a pair of human eyes on a process or on some sort of task that needs to get done. Human eyes, being your eyes that you have inside of your head, may be useful for identifying things that a computer will miss. Computers are programmatic by nature, and therefore they're not going to see little types of inconsistencies. They're not going to use logic to sort of identify maybe little things that you as a person are going to be able to pick up on. So sometimes you really need to have a human involved in the process. One thing that you can do in that situation is actually build what I like to call a hybrid automation. So that's where you have a human still reviewing things while a computer, or realistically an automation, is taking care of the manual aspects of that process. So a good example of this is maybe you need to send an invoice to a client. Well, the actual generation of that invoice, so taking details and putting it into a document and then sending it off to a client, all of that stuff can be automated. You don't need to go doing that yourself. However, you may want to add in a review step. Maybe right before that document actually gets sent to the customer, you may want to include a review step before that actually happens, where you are notified, you need to go through, review it, and then say that looks great, and then you check something off or do whatever you need to do that now tells the automation to continue forward, take those details, and run it. So what's the other reason why you may not want to use automation? Well, this comes down to the divide between technology, being computers, and humans. Computers and technology are really, really good at handling routine, repetitive, manual tasks over and over and over again. They don't require much thought, or even if they do require thought, it's nothing that is creative. Humans are very, very good at creative tasks. Realistically, computers are going to take a lot longer before they can start creating things like humans can, and arguably they may never actually get to that point. So I hope this was helpful, just a basic run through of what automations are and why you might use them. If you have more questions about that, put them in the comments below. And I'm going to be making lots of new content, so please ask questions and recommend different types of things that you'd be interested in, whether it be more Zapier automations, Integromat, Microsoft Flow, which is now Microsoft Power Automate, or whatever other sorts of tools or ideas or strategies that you want to hear more about. And I'll make sure to make some videos along those lines. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe below if you did. Let me know what you thought, and check out some more videos. Take care. We're holding on, even if we fall, we